Hi, in this short screencast I'm going to be showing you how to access through Sheffield Hallam University's library a source of important information to help you complete your external analysis. What we're going to be looking at is how to find passport reports on Sheffield Hallam University's library system. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to log into My Hallam. So I've logged in there, and once you're logged in you'll see this home screen. Now up at the top you'll see the link for the library. If you click on the library it will take you to the library homepage. Now what you need to do is you need to scroll down until you see the list which says A to Z list of databases. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and when this opens we are looking for passport, so I'm going to go to P for passport. I open P and I scroll down, and here we see Passport Euromonitor. So I'm going to click this, and when I click this it will probably take me to a permission consent form. Oh, it's not actually done, but when you open it sometimes you might have to say I agree to conditions, which will be down at the bottom of the page. So this is the passport homepage, and basically it's these menus up at the top which I'm just going to very quickly show you how to use, and then a task for you to do will be to spend some time on your own, in your own time, learning how to use this so you can look for relevant reports. So the first category that we come to is industries. Now some of these industries aren't really relevant to sport management, alcoholic drinks, beauty and personal care, consumer appliances, so televisions, radios, microwaves. We're not really interested in that. Consumer electronics, not that interested. But there are some categories that we might be interested in. So if you were looking at, for example, Nike or Adidas or Leaning or Anta perhaps as an organisation, then you might be interested in looking at what the situation is in the apparel and footwear market. So you would click on apparel and footwear. Okay, and this will take you to the apparel and footwear homepage. Now what you can do in Passport, because it's a global marketing information database, is you can look at reports for different countries and different parts of the world. So if I go to country reports, and the first thing I'm going to do is go to select a category. So this tells me all the categories that it's possible to view information for on apparel and footwear. And if we scroll down to the bottom here, we'll see that sportswear is something. So sportswear is a category which is relevant to the sport industry because Nike, Adidas, Reebok, Columbia, any of those brands operate in that market. Okay, so we've said we want to know about sportswear. Then we can select a country. So we could look at China, we could look at India, Indonesia, any of these countries. But what we're going to do is I'm going to select Hong Kong, and then all I need to do is click on Go. So this is going to bring up for me the sportswear in Hong Kong market. So what this is going to do is it's going to give me some trends and some information. Now these kinds of things are going to be really important when you come to write your external analysis and to complete your pastel. So what does Passport tells me? So it says sportswear sees 4% current value decline in 2019. So the size of the market has declined quite significantly in Hong Kong during 2019. But the strong culture of fitness, polarised trends and crossover apparel leads trends in sportswear. Yeah, so there are a number of different things which it says here. Now, what it says is the value of sales are expected to rise 10% in the period to 2024. Now, this was probably written pre-COVID. So at the top, it says this report was written prior to the COVID-19 pandemic and therefore does not take account of its impact on the market. So you might decide that, well, Passport says that there's going to be a growth of 10%, but maybe COVID is going to have an impact on this. And then what you'll see is, as you scroll down, there's more information, more detail. So some of this information and in discussions will be really useful for you. And some of it is very specific to Hong Kong. So it talks about the Leisure and Cultural Services Department and some of the initiatives that they've got. It talks about Hong Kong fitness chains such as JV Fitness, which is part of the California fitness gym chain. So there's a lot of good local information in here. So, you know, you can look at this and this will give you a really good view of what's going on and will be really important if you are looking at Nike or Adidas or a sportswear company. Yeah, this tells you the share of the market. This chart here gives you the share of the market in Hong Kong by different brands. So Adidas, Nike, Skechers. That's interesting to me from the UK because they're nowhere near the third most popular in the UK, and Fila and Timberland and Columbia aren't. You would see New Balance, Puma, Reebok would be much higher up this list than they are here. So that's interesting to me. Okay, so you'll need to look at this and try and decide how relevant is this for me? How important is it for me? Right? But what Passport have done here is they've said, well, these are some of the most important things. And then if we look at prospects, yeah, these are what we think are some of the key drivers. So strong culture of fitness, yeah, in Hong Kong is really important. And that's driven a growth in the number of gyms. And that has then led to increased demand in the health and fitness market, and which is feeding through to apparel and footwear. So that's a really useful report. And if you wanted to view it online, you can view it online. But if you go down to the bottom, you can download the report and save it to your personal computer. Now, what I have done is I have downloaded and saved all of the reports from Passport. They are on the Blackboard site in the Week 1 Study School folder, which you will find in the Learning Materials area of the Blackboard site. I've downloaded those in case you have problems getting access to this database. So you might have problems with logging in. So I've saved it on Blackboard so that you have it available. But I think it would be good for you to spend some time looking at this. Okay, so, you know, if you were looking at this, you might look at apparel and footwear. You might look at consumer health and health and wellness. Yeah, because those categories might all have something about the sport industry. Okay, and when you're doing pest and pestel, one of the things is you're not going to find all of the information all in one report, all in one place. You're going to have to look around for different bits of information in different places. So the other thing that we can look at here is we can look at economies. Okay, so if I click on economies and I might want to look at economy, finance and trade. So this will take me to the economies page and economy, finance and trade. And just as in the same way as when we were on the industries page, I can scroll down the page I can select a category, economy, finance and trade, and then I can look at, now this doesn't give, there's a report there for Hong Kong. I can find that, I can click on that and go. So if you're looking at pastel and you're looking at the economy part of this, then this will be important. So what you can see is there are some reports which you can open and look at, and that will tell you about some of the key economic trends and issues which are happening in Hong Kong. So I'm not going to go through this and explain it to you, but you know, this talks about what's forecast to happen to GDP, the value of consumption, unemployment. So all of these things are relevant to the economy. So that's the economy. And I'm just going to show you one final sector or set of reports that you can look at within Passport. So under consumers, what we can do is click on lifestyles. So if we click on lifestyles under consumer, we could click on any of the other categories. And again, I'm going to scroll down this page and I'm going to look for country reports. I'm going to click on consumer overview and I'm going to click on Hong Kong. Let's click go. So the page should download in a few seconds. I'll just wait for that. So I just paused that for a few seconds while the page downloaded, but the page download has happened now. And what we can see is we can scroll over here and we can look down categories that it's possible to view information for on consumer behaviour and consumer activity. So I'm going to scroll down, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at exercise habits. Okay, so if we click on exercise habits, but you might want to look at leisure habits and leisure information, and again the page is downloading quite slowly, so I might just pause this for a minute. Okay, so the page has downloaded, and what this gives us is it gives us some information, not that easy to see on this, so you might need to download this, but it gives us information on activity. So walk or hike for exercise, run or jog, yoga, cycle or ride a bike. So it gives us information on participation in different sports, which is current. And there isn't much information on current sport participation in Hong Kong. There is a Leisure and Cultural Services Department report on participation in sport, but that survey was carried out in 2009, so it is quite old now. So this survey was carried out in 2019 or 2020 and was based on a sample of around about 800 or 900 people in Hong Kong, which is a good sample size for this kind of information. So this gives us information on participation in sport, and then it breaks down participation by age group, so participation in different sports by age group. So some of these charts are a little bit complicated and you would need to spend time looking at them, but here is a really good source of information about what motivates people to do sport and why they do sport. So this is involvement in stress reduction or mental well-being activities over the previous 6 weeks. So some of this includes kind of exercise and sport and so on. Okay, so I'm not going to show you any more reports. I think what you need to do now is log in and have a look at the reports that are available under the different headings, because these will be helpful when you come to do your pest analysis and your external analysis. And the only other thing to say is that here I have logged into the module Blackboard site, and I've gone to the Learning Materials folder, and if you click on the Week 1 Study School, you will see that I have put the Passport Global Marketing Index Database Hong Kong reports on the Blackboard site, and you will see all of the reports that I've downloaded. So sports nutrition, sportswear, video games, which might include things about esports, weight management and well-being, which might include exercise. So those are the kind of things which are very relevant to the industry sectors, and then some of these other things are relevant to the broader pastel environment. So there is a lot of information here, but as we've said in the lectures, one of the tasks of environmental analysis is working through a lot of data to arrive at the factors which are most important. And here is a really good source of information which is current, it's up to date, it's used by marketing and strategy professionals, it's a respected, well-known industry source. So it's important, I think, that you get used to using sources like this, because it will improve the credibility of your writing and your work and your knowledge. Okay, so that's the end of this screencast. Thank you.